Okay, welcome to class, everybody. Today we're going to be working on how to improve your round kicks. More specifically, how to prevent telegraphing your round kicks. We want to streamline it and cut all the fat and cut off the excess movement in that. Now, in order to do this, we're going to cover, as usual, the 3 basic mistakes that people make on telegraphing the round kick. Okay, so basically what we want to do is to take in consideration the 2 types of energy when we're throwing a kick: static and kinetic. And if you haven't got to that part yet, Louis, click that bumper or put it in somewhere, wherever it goes. Louis is going to take care of it. And don't forget, always give Louis a thumbs up. Okay, so now that we've figured out in a sparring session whether we're going to have static energy or kinetic energy into our kicks, we want to streamline that kick so we're not telegraphing. And the one way we do that is by chambering the knee. A lot of times, for example, in many other systems, they'll throw a round kick or a roundhouse kick, whatever the name that they so choose. They're going to throw it and generate with a lot of torque, a lot of movement, a lot of prep movement from their torso and to their hips to really fling that leg and generate a lot of power. Now, please understand, I'm not discrediting that technique. I'm not discrediting that move. It is very powerful, and when it hits and when it works, it's absolutely amazing, and it generates so much power with it. But the bad part is it can be seen, it can be noticed, right? You have to be really clean to set it up. So we don't want to telegraph that movement, right? We want to make sure it's nice and clean. So therefore, technique number 1, or step 1, we bring it from this position. We chamber the knee. This also gives you the opportunity to be a little closer to your target and less likely for them to anticipate the round kick coming, right? So we bring the knee up, pivot, snap, re-chamber it, and land. Very important to do that. Instead of generating a lot of power and telegraphing and big motion, we cut the movement, chamber, snap it, chamber, and control the landing again. Does that make sense? So we don't want to overcompensate. We don't want to generate a lot of upper movement, a lot of torque. We want to chamber the knee. So that's mistake number 1 to clean up, okay? Now 2, that actually brings us in to the landing portion, the re-chambering at the end. If I throw the kick here and I have a lot of momentum, that forces my body forward. We don't want to have that forward movement. We don't want to crash after our kick, and we don't want to overcompensate. Here, a lot of times people will go ahead and turn. That's a very popular method of throwing that roundhouse kick. Here, it generates a lot of power, and to control that momentum, we just turn around. Well, that gives us a lot of vulnerability. In sparring, in sport application, yeah, it works because you can test. You know, that martial artist against another martial artist, they're going to be testing the waters and analyzing the fight. But in a street fight, in a real life application, don't ever give them that benefit of the doubt. Don't ever give your opponent your back. Does that make sense? Whether you're standing up or on the ground. So the mistake number 2 is that overcompensation without control. They're losing their balance. We don't want that. Re-chamber the knee. So that way I'm completely focused, completely on target, and I can control whether I come back. Not to mention, I can also control if I want to throw another hit. I don't have to just throw one kick. I can throw multiple kicks, right? As well as giving myself the opportunity to block, right? I'm covered, I'm guard. There's a lot of benefits to having that chamber in front and the chamber in the back of the kick. Does that make sense? Okay, so now mistake number 3 is hitting with the wrong part of the leg. Now, with us, we focus a lot on hitting with the shin. The shin is very important, which also gives us a little bit better range of motion when we bring this knee up in that chamber position. Many other martial arts systems, and again, not wrong, just a little bit different. They're going to flick and hit with the instep of their foot, right? You're going to get into this area. Louis, can you zoom in? They're going to go from the top of the foot, ankle, onto this area on the instep of their foot. Now, of course, that generates a lot of power, but also to take in consideration, when we're wearing shoes and we're not on the mat, all our shoes are not going to have the benefit. We might not have the benefit of being able to flex our toes and to point our toes and to extend them. So for us, we get used to a little bit of a close quarter kick and hitting with our shins. This way, when we have the chance to actually kick with our shoes, which hurts a lot, we don't have to worry about flexing or pushing or moving our foot. We can still, with our shoe, hit, and even if the foot's extended, even if I'm hitting with the toes on my shoe or a boot or whatever, I still have a good range and distance and comprehension, sorry about that, of the kick. Does that make sense? So, quick review. Mistake number 1, don't overcompensate. Don't throw it. Don't telegraph so much, right? Don't have such a big movement. Streamline the movement so it's harder for them to see you and to anticipate that you're actually throwing the round kick. 2, same thing. Even if I keep that chamber, I don't want to overcompensate my energy. Not just the movement, visual movement. I don't want to overcompensate the energy on that momentum of the kick. And then number 3 is not understanding the distance that applies to what part of the foot or leg, in our case, that you should actually be kicking. So now, to give a good example on that, bring the knee up, chambered. They're not sure which type of technique I'm going to throw. When I do finally throw that round kick, rechamber, and I can control the landing. And then 3rd is making sure I understand the range. For us, we're closer, so I can focus on hitting with the shin. Does that make sense? All right, any questions, comments, concerns? Please always, as always, hit us up on the comments below. Hit those other videos, the static and energy, one more time, static and kinetic energy there. You can also check out the front kicks and whatever else Louis wants to put up there. All right, take care, guys. Train hard, train smart, train safe. And as always, give Louis that thumbs up. Take care. See you later.